the Dawgs Podcast with your hosts, Blake Reneker, Justin Charles, and Josh All.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Dawgs Podcast presented by Manly Bands, another Dog Pack Discord live preview today. Josh All, your host. Kenny Mack should be jumping up here on stage with me. Wow, speak of the devil, there he is. He is up on stage. Kenny, are you able to speak? Can you hear me?
You got me there, big dog?
Got you, buddy. Got you. So Kenny is back. He is fresh off a trip to London. He was holding down the fort over there for the London game against the Vikings. Kenny, real quick, before we start diving into this stuff, let's talk about it. Let's talk about this, your London experience.
Yeah, guys, I had a fantastic time. The British Bulldog Browns backers, they pulled off a fantastic event in correlation, obviously, with the Cleveland Browns. I was supported by Cleveland Browns worldwide, and there was three main things, really. It was there was other events, but for me specifically, there was a welcome party, there was a backer bash, and there was a tailgate, and that was aside from the game. And if you want to talk about the definition of Browns backers worldwide, it's obviously a bunch of chapters through the Cleveland Browns, that the Cleveland Browns support. But being in London, we actually got to hang around worldwide Browns backers fans. Like, there was Browns backers Switzerland. There was the German Browns backers. We had guys in from Hawaii. We had guys in from all over the United States. A lot of people from Columbus I ran into. And it was just a fantastic celebration of Browns fandom. At the end of the day, the welcome party, that was at Brewdog. Couldn't be more happy with them. That pub was 2 levels. We had the entire second level. I think we had 870 Browns fans at one point in there. And it was wild. The Browns also had a collaboration with Greenwood Pub off Victoria Street, downtown London. And we packed that place, and the Browns dressed it up brown and orange. It was fantastic. We had Joe Thomas stop by. We had Andrew Hawkins stop by. We had Gary Barnes stop by. It was super impressive. The only thing that would have wrapped a nice bow around that would be a big W, but we got a big lump of coal there.
We almost had the W. We brought it down to the end there, and then, yes, turned that thing into a lump of coal. Before we first of all, Kenny, thank you for sharing some of that experience. I you were sending me videos and pictures and posting on social media all weekend. I mean, it looked like so much fun. I was very, very jealous that I couldn't be over there in London. It looked like a lot of fun. It really did.
You know what? Like I said, we didn't get the win. I don't want to beat a dead horse about that, but just the ultimate celebration of the fandom with the Cleveland Browns was fantastic. Like I said again, like, they just didn't pull any stops on that. It was really, really a good time. And hanging out with all the Browns fans is the one thing that we can always look forward to, whether the Browns win or lose. And that's what it was all about.
I see Cirque in the chat says, I live just outside London. I had no idea half of this stuff was going on, but glad you had a great time. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you were posting in the Discord or not, Ken. I know you've had some technical issues being overseas and everything, with your tech and all that stuff. But, if you follow our social media pages, we were posting Kenny's pictures and videos from London, trying to keep people up to date with what's going on. Because I know we've got a lot of fans over there in London that, are active on social media and follow us, and we interact with them on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and all that kind of stuff. So make sure you guys are following us at the Dawgs Podcast on all the socials to stay up to date with everything. Got a lot to talk about today. Real quick, if you guys want to get into these Discord live preview shows, make sure you head to jointhedawgs.com, join the Patreon, become an official Dog Pack member, and sync up with the private Discord. Get in there, get to know all these guys, gals that are from around the world. I mean, this group, this diehard Browns fan group on jointhedawgs.com is phenomenal. You guys are the best. You can see everybody down here in the audience. Again, if you guys want to talk as we're going through, just get your hands up. Even if we don't get to you right away, we will get to you eventually. If you have a time restriction, like you got to get back to work or you're driving or whatever, and you need to get on the show quick and get out, drop it in the chat and we'll try to prioritize getting you up here quickly. And real quick, I just wanted to mention, like, what Kenny's talking about over there in London just speaks to how awesome Browns fans are. The team may be hot garbage doo-doo, but the fan base is what it's all about. You guys are the best fans in all of sports. I see all the memes, all the videos. Everybody's getting very creative with this, like, how do you know if your man's loyal type stuff, on TikTok and stuff. And all you got, the guy's wearing a Browns hat or wearing a Browns shirt or watching the Browns on Sunday. And that is how you know you are a loyal person through the good and a whole lot of the bad. So before we get into...
Hey, man, I'll tell you one thing. I got to hang out with one of the members. I got to hang out with Aaron Watts. We had a fantastic time. I put it out there to Graham, didn't hear from you. But whenever I'm at an event, guys, I'll probably be down for the Dolphins game. I'll be in Vegas. Just get a hold of me somehow, and I can tell you what's going on and where it's going on, because I oversee the Browns backers worldwide this year, and I generally know what's going on, so I can help you out with that.
Yeah, and I mean, the best place to get a hold of Kenny is right here in the Discord. So make sure you guys head to jointhedawgs.com. If you're not already a member, if you are, again, this is where we are. So if you want to talk to Kenny or you want to talk to me or Justin or Blake or whoever, any of these guys in here, that's where it's at. So before we go into this preview of the Browns and the Steelers, which I think is going to be interesting to talk about, we have other things to discuss we haven't had a chance to do on the show yet this week. The first one, obviously, this is like, it would have been the big news, but now it's just old news. But the Browns traded Joe Flacco. And they didn't just trade Joe Flacco to some other team that needed a quarterback. They traded him to the freaking Cincinnati Bengals in division, in state. Just like 3 hours down the road, Joe just got in a car from Enterprise that the Bengals sent up here, and down the highway he goes. And he will be starting this Sunday against the Packers, who he already faced in week 3 and won. The Browns beat that's the only win we have, and that was Joe Flacco. So I forget what the stat is, and if you guys remember, put it in the chat. He'll be the first quarterback to beat the same team if the Bengals were to somehow win against the Packers. I don't think they will. But he'd be it's either the first, only, whatever quarterback to beat the same team on 2 different teams, maybe in history or since. I forget.
Yeah.
But,
on the same season in history, I think so. I think that's what it is.
Okay. Yeah, so, we sent Joe... I should have wrote this stuff down because I had it all in my other notes. What was the trade? Do you remember? It was Joe and a 6th round pick in exchange for a 5th round pick, correct? Okay. Kenny's freezing up there a little bit. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I think it was Joe. We packaged him with a 6th round pick, traded him to the Bengals. They sent us a 5th round pick. So it's kind of like a pick swap deal to get Joe Flacco down there. Obviously, they need quarterback help in the worst way imaginable. Joe Burrow is out for potentially, what did they say, 3-4 months. I'm guessing it'll be the whole season. Jake Browning has looked horrible, just not good whatsoever playing for them. So bad that they traded for Joe Flacco on, I guess, what was it, Tuesday or something, and immediately said, yeah, he's starting for us this week. Like, just, he's going to start. That's how bad their situation is. So the Browns at the moment have Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders on the active roster. Bailey Zappi on the practice squad. I gotta imagine shouldn't even say gotta imagine. He will be activated to the roster before Sunday, I would imagine, because they don't have an emergency quarterback, and you have to be on the active roster to be the emergency quarterback. So that's the whole conversation then, is will Shedeur be the QB2, or are they going to keep him as the emergency quarterback and let Bailey Zappi be the QB2? And it goes back to that Ian Rappaport report last Sunday. I think it came out in the morning before the Vikings game that the Browns do anticipate having Shedeur Sanders start games this year at some point, but it will be after, I think he said, after a full week of practice with a game plan specifically designed for him. So it makes me think, and a lot of people speculate, that the Browns won't want Shedeur Sanders one play away from coming into the middle of a game without being, the full week of practice as the starter, without the game plan, designed specifically for him and all that kind of stuff. So that's why I keep telling people, don't be surprised if he is made the emergency quarterback and Bailey Zappi gets promoted to QB2 ahead of Sunday's game. What do you think about that, Kenny?
Yeah, I would agree. I think there's just slightly different quarterbacks. I would expect more bootlegs in this game, and I don't see that with Shedeur. It's going to be more of a traditional drop back style. So I see it being different. So I think Zappy could run the same thing that Dylan can, and I think it's exactly what it is. It's nothing more than that. It's not anything against Shador. I just think it's Bailey right now without Flacco. We have Bailey, Zappy, and we have Dylan probably running more of a similar style offense, and that's it.
Yeah, and I see the arguments online, and I don't disagree with people that are saying things like, how unprepared can Shador Sanders actually be to go into an NFL game if you're telling us that Bailey Zappi would be more prepared to go in the middle of the game because he hasn't exactly had the most robust career through, I think, 4 years now in the NFL. He had a couple nice games where he started for the Patriots way back when, just kind of some spot starts. I think he took people a little by surprise, but it was nothing long-lasting. And the last time we saw him on the field for the Browns, it was bad. Like, it wasn't pretty. So, I mean, I understand
he passed to the biggest defensive lineman for the Ravens as an interception. It was awful.
Yeah.
And I totally get where they're coming from that. But I think you can lay a game plan down for both of them because I think Shador is just a different beast as far as what he could do for Stefanski's offense.
No, I agree. And, I think I want everybody to keep this in mind if it does come out, because I put in here, last season, you got to remember this stuff can change all the way up until pretty much game time on Sunday morning. Because last season, it was that first game against Cincinnati at home. DTR was actually elevated to the QB2 spot over Jameis Winston. He was demoted down to emergency quarterback that morning. It was kind of like that whole last second, like what Jameis has been the QB2 all season to that point, and DTR was the emergency quarterback. All of a sudden that morning they flipped it. So this stuff can change all the way up until game time. So everybody jumping out there saying, Shador's officially QB2, climbing the depth chart, all this stuff. Pump the brakes. It's not official yet. I wouldn't be surprised to see this change. And I don't think it's obviously not me saying it. And the Browns aren't saying either that they think Zappy is better than Shador. They just think he would be more prepared to go into the middle of a game because that's an unknown. You have no idea what the game situation is, what the script's going to be, what the play calling is going to have to look like, all that kind of stuff in the middle of a game, especially this one in Pittsburgh against the Steelers, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. Does anybody in the chat have anything they wanted to chime in or talk about with the Joe Flacco trade, Shador Sanders, QB2, all that stuff before we move on to the other big trade that happened last night? All right, we've got Stacy would like to come on up. Stacy, how's it going?
What's going on, guys?
What's going on?
The only thing I have to say about the Joe Flacco trade, I think it was a good trade because honestly, we weren't really using him. He was kind of just sitting on the bench, and everyone wanted Shador to be QB2 anyway. So I think to get a 6th round pick for a 40-year-old quarterback was a pretty good move by AB. So, yeah.
No, I definitely agree.
Yeah.
Better than keeping him on the roster doing nothing, like you said. And we've already talked about how if or when you go away from Dylan Gabriel at any point, you don't want to go backward to Joe Flacco. You want to try something else with like Shador. The thing that I keep seeing people talk about that I totally agree with, though, is it does seem a little helter-skelter with the Browns in this quarterback situation because they spent so many reps throughout training camp getting this team prepared for the season. They gave all these first-team reps to Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco, and here we are week 6, and neither one of them is on the roster. So it's like, what did they see in camp that was different than what we saw on the field during games? Because Joe Flacco did not last very long, and I get why people are questioning the approach here and whether there's an actual plan or if they're just kind of flying by the seat of their pants.
Yeah, I mean, the whole quarterback thing looks bad. I mean, as far as you take a look at, we have Deshaun Watson, which is already like a thorn in our side, right?
Right.
And then we can't get this guy to play, and we're giving him all this money. We're still got DTR on the books. We still got Joe on the books, really, with the trade for $1 million, I think, or 900,000. And if you just lay out the dead money and everything we're paying the quarterbacks, just looks really bad. That being said, though, I think Stacy was kind of hitting the nail on the head. Getting that draft capital back, because that's currency to move up and down the draft for next year for a guy that's probably not really gonna play this much. And then as far as him being like a veteran and the leader, as a leader and just to help the young guys out. I mean, we're paying one of the better quarterback coaches and one of the more veteran quarterback coaches in the league. So I don't think we really do need that. I did hear Stefanski mention that Deshaun is still helping the young guys. I don't know how much help he's going to give them, but there's that with it too.
Yeah, absolutely. Stacy, was there anything else before I bring Colton on up?
Just please, guys, don't let Joe Flacco go to the Bengals and light him up. That's all.
Oh my God. Yeah, I hear you, man. That would be so Browns. Like,
oh, yeah.
I do not want to see that either.
It would be crazy, but you got to remember too, they do have two very, very good and highly paid wide receivers down there as well. So, all right, Colton, we'll get you up here. Stacy, thank you. If there's anything else you want to talk about here in a little bit, just go ahead and put your hand back up. Colton, you're on. Okay, you're good to go.
Yeah, so I think the funniest, well, I guess that's more depressing than anything, but and this whole thing is watching Jacksonville on Monday Night Football come back and beat the Chiefs and knowing that we have their first round pick next year. And I think all along we were all thinking with like googly eyes, all right, we traded the second back to the fifth and we're going to have probably 2 top 10 picks next year. We're going to really be able to package those together. We're going after 2 weapons that we really need. And now Jacksonville is just going on this unbelievable run with a rookie coach that nobody expected. So now we're sitting here in despair like, okay, this is such a Cleveland thing to do, is to trade back with the expectation of having a top prime pick. And now it's going to fall possibly into the 20s, late 20s, which you never know, of course, in the NFL, how things are going to go. But I just find it candy to see that. So with all that being said, though, trading 2 of your top training camp quarterbacks for 5th round picks, if that's the plan that we have moving forward, I'm kind of on the fence now of, hey, let's punt this front office and move on, because that's not where I want to see my time spent in quality sessions. So thanks for having me on. Always appreciate it. Always look forward to it.
Yeah, always love hearing from you, man, for sure. So yeah, you got the Jaguars right now at 4-1. The thing with the Jaguars is I'll believe it when I see it, kind of thing. Like, I've watched the Jaguars. I've watched Trevor Lawrence enough over the last, 4 or 5 years now. I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop, kind of thing. Maybe they actually are this good and they carry this throughout the whole season. They make a playoff run, all that kind of stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden they start dropping 3 games in a row and then they win 1, then they lose 2, and all of a sudden they're, battling for 500. I could also see that being the outcome as well. So I won't say sky's falling on that Jaguars pick, but I agree. It doesn't look great at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting a ton of turnovers. I think they lead the league with 14. Maybe they got more after that game. Maybe that was just a pregame stat. But either way, like, those turnovers do come in bunches. And when you don't get them, and you depend on them for your wins, that could lead to some losses. But I don't take anything away from them. We finished off the 2023 season like that. They're starting the 2025 season off like that. So if the chips fall where they may, and see what happens.
Jasia in the chat says, do you guys think the extra pick will be used to package the Jags one for a higher position this year, or possibly move back and get a second first-round pick in 2027? I don't think we'll have any idea what the Browns are planning to do, and I don't think they have any idea what they're planning to do until we get there. I mean, we weren't.
It's always a possibility. It's always a possibility.
I mean, we thought it was going to be Shedeur Sanders or, a quarterback at 2 for a long time, and then it was, okay, they're definitely taking Travis Hunter, and then draft night, they traded back to 5. Who knows? We got to let it all play out. It's really hard to talk a whole lot of draft specifics at this point. I mean, we're only in week 6. This episode is sponsored by Manly Bands. Browns fans, if you're looking for manly rings and manly things, head over to manlybands.com/dogs, DAWGS, and check out everything Manly Bands has to offer. And right now, get 35% off site-wide with promo code PRIME. That's PRIME. They've got rings out of every material you could possibly be looking for. They've even got stuff you're not looking for, like meteorite and dinosaur bone. They've got collections like their awesome Lord of the Rings themed bands. They've got DC Comics and Jeep and Jack Daniel's whiskey barrel bands. And they've also got great gifts for men like barware, chains, bracelets. They've got retirement gifts. They've got shot glasses. They've got lighters. They've got all kinds of things. So head over to manlybands.com/dogs. Use that promo code PRIME to get 35% off site-wide today. That's manlybands.com/dogs. Promo code PRIME. This episode is brought to you by Danger Coffee. Browns fans, we talk about how Danger Coffee is made free from mold toxins that are in 45% of the world's coffee, but that's not all that Danger Coffee has to offer. Mineral and nutrient deficiencies are a big deal. They make you feel sick, tired, stressed, and they can give you brain fog. These deficiencies negatively affect your immune system, your digestion, sleep, metabolism. Have you ever wondered why you get an initial burst from your coffee, but then you get that little crash not long after? Danger Coffee's patent-pending process remineralizes your body with more than 50 trace minerals and electrolytes, leaving you more energized, engaged, powerful. These micronutrients enter the cells to boost performance. They bind to toxins to provide detoxification support. I know that sounds like a lot, but the bottom line, guys, is minerals matter, and most of us really don't get enough of them on a daily basis. Danger Coffee delivers micronutrients, plus it gives you access to the minerals you already have. Head to dangercoffee.com, use our code DAWGS, D-A-W-G-S, for 10% off your order. And that code can be used over and over. So you get 10% off every order you make using code DAWGS. It's time to start every day off with a cup of coffee that gets you going and actually keeps you going. dangercoffee.com, code DAWGS. But speaking of Jacksonville, we might as well stay here on this topic because the Browns just traded again with the Jaguars last night. It came out late. Luckily, it was like right before I went to bed, so I didn't miss it. I was able to post about it and kind of do a little research before I went to bed, but it was late, and the Browns traded a guy that has been the talk of possible trade rumors and all this stuff for 2 years now, and it was Greg Newsome. So they sent cornerback Greg Newsome and a 2026 sixth-round pick to the Jaguars for another cornerback, Tyson Campbell, and a 2026 seventh-round pick. So a late-round pick swap to trade Greg Newsome for Tyson Campbell. So the difference here is Greg Newsome playing on an expiring contract with the Browns. He was on his fifth-year option. And if he was going to be here next year, it was going to be via extension. And I don't know if the Browns were... I heard reports, I think you guys read them too probably, that the Browns were willing to, entertain extension discussions with Greg Newsome, but he's going to cost a lot of money. He's not like a high-end premier cornerback in the league, but his level of play, and you can see it in the contract that Tyson Campbell got with the Jaguars, they're still going to get a lot of money. I mean, this is still a position that if you're any good, you're going to get a good bag of money. And that's what the Jaguars gave to Campbell. Gave him a 4-year, $76 million contract back in 2024. So just last offseason. And so the Browns get a guy under contract for the next few years. I think he's only like $1.4 million against the cap this year. It's really low. So they get to clear Newsome's cap off the books. They get to bring on a very low comparable corner, I guess. And we can kind of talk about now if did the Browns upgrade at corner? Did they downgrade, or is this just a lateral move? What are your thoughts about it, Kenny?
I think they upgraded slightly if he can stay healthy, but it's kind of four quarters for a dollar at this point because they're both guys that have hamstring issues. The only thing is, it really comes into like a Barry move, right? He's already signed to a longer contract, Campbell that is. And Newsome himself, he's on his fifth year, so he's like an unknown. Maybe things haven't been going well. Maybe they contact him. Maybe they think he wants more money. Maybe the money figure that Newsome gave him was bigger than what Tyson Campbell has. And Tyson Campbell himself, he fits Jim Schwartz's defense really well because he favors long, physical press corners, and he's kind of not fit that mold, right? Newsome's been a little bit more, I think he's played more slot snaps overall. And I think maybe that's something that Jaguars want to do with him. But either way, this guy comes in, he's a tackler. He's more along the lines of MJ Emerson. And I think those are the guys that Schwartz is looking for. So I think it's a good fit. His salary is a good fit. So does he stay healthy? And I think it'll be a good. I think I'm pretty comfortable with this, that we got the edge on this one.
So I know, I was texting with like Justin and Blake last night. Blake was pretty bummed. I mean, obviously we knew the Greg Newsome trade was a possibility. Tony, just hang on a second. I'm going to get you up here real quick. But Blake obviously we all like Greg Newsome on the show. Blake's his biggest fan of all of us. He was really bummed to see him go and all this stuff. And, he did bring a high energy. He was always up for the game.
Yeah,
whether he had a good game or whether he had a game where he was getting burnt, over and over, whatever. he had the energy. He brought that tenacity to the defense. And Tyson Campbell, from what I've been able to gather and read from all the reports online, like you said, more physical, great tackler. He could be a good fit for the more man-to-man press coverage that Jim Schwartz likes to run. Greg Newsome kind of fits what the Jaguars want to do in their more like zone-heavy scheme on defense and all this kind of stuff. What I've been seeing from Jaguars fans, because I said, we were talking like Blake said, I don't even know who this guy is. I said, yeah, well, let's look. So first of all, he was the 33rd pick in the 2021 draft. Newsome was the 26th. So he was the very first pick in the second round by the Jaguars, just a few picks after Newsome. So same draft class, pretty much same age, all that kind of stuff. I was kind of reading through some of the Cleveland media and what they were posting about it and everything. And of course they want to put, oh, hey, we're getting this player and all this stuff, put a nice spin on it. I said, I need to go see what Jaguars people are saying about it. So I went and I started searching to see what like some of their main media and their fan base was saying about Tyson Campbell. And I didn't see anything except people happy that he was no longer on their team. People were saying, get this guy the F off my team. From what I was reading, he gives up. I think he's a decent corner, but he has the knack of giving up a big play pretty much every game. From what I've been reading, he's struggled the last couple seasons. Jacksonville got this new front office in there, and they just didn't feel like he was living up to the contract that the previous regime had given him. So they were looking to offload him and his contract and all that kind of stuff. So I don't really know what to expect with Tyson Campbell. I kind of feel like we downgraded a little bit. I think Greg Newsome is the better cornerback, but we'll see. Let me get Tony up here and see if he's got a perspective on this. Tony, what's going on, man?
Yeah, so the perspective on that, I have two things with this, but I'll comment on that. It's playing zone in a defense and then playing man in a defense are two different things. So in a zone, a lot of the Jacksonville fans can get really pissed off at him because he might be giving up a big play, but that's zone coverage. Sometimes it's safety help that needs to come over. There's so many different factors that go on that. Now, when you play man-to-man, it's your guy and you're not expecting any help. You're there for him. And if he's seen more as a man-to-man type thing, maybe it'll work out here in Cleveland because that's typically what we run. Obviously, I know that we run some zones sometimes, but if he's seen at that, then maybe it'll be more beneficial for us. And same thing for Greg Newsome. I would tailor more that it's more of a lateral.
Yeah,
Newsome's going to fit that scheme better, and Tyson's going to fit this scheme better. The second point that I want to bring up, I said this in the chat earlier, and I know you guys are saying it's a money move, and I get it like that. The one thing I didn't understand was why trade him now when, especially, I would say he's had a pretty good productive season so far, at least decently, and not wait closer to the trade deadline, seeing especially if he keeps getting better or he does more to get more value out of him. I understand that we're going to need a quarterback to fill that role, especially if Newsome's not here, because our backups, I wouldn't say, are anything worthy of a CB2 right now. I understand the move. I just didn't understand why now when maybe, and I know it's all what if world, but you could have got probably more value out of him when it got close to that trade deadline, because I think we all knew it. If Newsome didn't get an extension done by the trade deadline, we all knew he was going to be traded by then, unless this season was just like a 4-1 start.
I would think it's just they wanted Campbell and he was available at that point, and it was high on their chart, or however they divvy up who they want and what they want to get. It could have been a possible conversation to add this kid when we get our trade originally with Jacksonville, and he didn't get in there, and then finally they offered up some kind of deal that came to fruition. I would just say it's been ongoing talks since the last trade that we did with them. That's what I think.
And also it might come down to, well, one, we don't know what kind of trade talks or, interest the Browns have gauged from the rest of the league on Greg Newsome. Maybe they've already done some, put some feelers out there and found out that, man, there's really not a big market for Greg Newsome at the moment. I don't know if that's the case or not. I'm just saying that could be, part of it. And, the other part of it too, sometimes a deal comes across and you think that's a pretty good deal. And, you could either try to hold out for a better one and take the risk of not getting a better one, or you just take that good deal because it's there, it's available, and you're going to make a deal with this guy, or try to at least anyway. So they just went ahead and did it. Either way, you get a guy at the cornerback position, kind of like you were saying, Tony, for the next couple years. Like we've got Denzel Ward, and at least we've got another guy to put across from him who is a good, starting caliber cornerback, because the rest of our cornerback room, like you said, is not good. Miles Harden, Cam Mitchell. I mean, they just added Dom Jones officially to the active roster because they can't put him to the practice squad and call him up anymore. They used up all his elevations. It ain't pretty. It is not pretty. And we'll talk about it here with the Steelers preview, kind of what to expect this weekend from the secondary. But yeah, the cornerback situation is bad. And who knows what they want to do with Emerson too. I've talked about it where, the Achilles injury for Emerson could open the door for the Browns to bring him back at a very low cost for next year. So you could be looking at, extending or retaining Emerson with Ward and now Tyson Campbell, which I don't think is the worst thing in the world, especially with all the other holes that we have to fill next offseason on the offense. Andrew Berry, thank you for getting Mason Graham. Thank you for getting Carson Swessinger. We need offense. I'm done drafting defensive players. Get me some offense. So, does anybody else have anything about the trades that you want to talk about? Anything with Joe Flacco? Anything with Newsome, Campbell? Before we move on to the Steelers preview. Going once. Going truth. Brad. We usually don't go this long in the show without hearing from you. What's going on, man? You are mute. Brad, you're on
No,
mute.
you're not. I got you. Yeah, we're good, bud.
Oh, you can hear him? I can't hear him.
Yeah, I can hear him.
That's so weird. Okay, try now.
You hear me now?
Yeah, okay. Sorry, man.
What? Hey.
There was what, 2 weeks ago I did a show and I cut off Devontae. He was I think you and Kenny were talking about something and I couldn't hear anybody anymore. I said, okay, well, I guess nobody's here talking anymore. So I just ended the show. I'm like, what's going on? Yeah. Thanks a lot, Discord. Okay, Brad, I can hear you. What's going on, man?
But here we are again. We're back to the dumpster fire that is the Cleveland Browns once again. And we have all the media. Is Kevin Stefanski getting fired? Is Andrew Berry on the hot seat? Is Kevin on the hot seat? We're trading away quarterbacks. We have. Did you? I don't know if you saw my post.
Read it.
But we have
read it.
quarterbacks.
Yep.
We have 8 quarterbacks on the payroll right now.
That's crazy. That is wild.
We're talking about that.
We have 8 quarterbacks on the payroll. I mean, I remember one time we used to have 3 or 4 head coaches on the payroll after we fired them all.
Probably stuck on the quarterbacks.
Now we have now that we got rid of Joe, is Deshaun Watson coming back now? God, I don't want him on the field. He's if I saw him, if I see a report that says, Deshaun Watson is being activated to the active roster, I might just full out crash out on the Browns social media page. I mean, I can't stand him. I do not want him on the field. I don't want him in a Browns jersey anymore. He has just destroyed this whole fan base and us in general, just the whole time he's been here.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of his annoying burner accounts, his just everything. As far as the trades go, getting a 5th round pick for Joe Flacco, I mean, name me another GM that's going to do that one. So, I think the last couple of years, Andrew Berry has been doing better. I know me out of most people, I've been pretty critical of Andrew Berry, but this draft looks good so far. We have not seen Andrew draft us a wide receiver or a quarter. Well, he drafted these 2 quarterbacks. I'm talking a first round quarterback, franchise changer quarterback yet. I mean, I want to give Dylan and Shador a chance, but I kind of see the writing on the wall. I can see where Dylan has a bad game. Okay, let's put Shador. Shador has a bad game. Oh, well, we're just going to draft a quarterback in the top 5 this draft. I mean, it's just sometimes this organization is just so predictable. And some people are like, well, we really shouldn't draft a quarterback. Well, everybody forgets. Just even if the front office, the scouts, everybody does well, you still have Jerry Jones' wish version as our owner that will just be like, you know what? We got to draft quarterback number 1 overall. So that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
So,
no, I mean, we'll definitely have all those conversations as the season goes on later in the season and, after the season's over about what they're going to do in the draft and moving forward at quarterback and all that stuff. But, if it's another draft and I see, Gage in the chat says this QB class is underwhelming. Yeah, so far in college, there's really nothing. Nobody that's a locked and loaded. This is a top 3 guy. You got to go and get this quarterback. He's going to change. We don't have that right now. Now they could still emerge, I suppose, but at this point there is nobody. And if the Browns elect to punt another season without using a high pick on a quarterback to try to get the franchise guy in here, that's just another season of excuses for the front office, for the coaching staff. Well, they don't have their quarterback. Blah 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 blah. I mean, we'll see what happens. I don't want to get too down on all that stuff right now. The last thing that I wanted to talk about here real quick, trying to find it. Oh, Gage in the chat says, my only question is who is next when he's talking. Brad, I'll get you back up here in a little bit, talking about the Newsome trade. And I'm probably going to do some sort of episode or video next Tuesday looking at that. I'm going to look at, the guys on the roster who are on their last year of their deal and which players could be the next to go. Because it seems like we're trading guys and we expected that and it's happening. So, I mean, off the top of my head, I don't know if I'd have to look at their contracts and what the numbers look like, but Teller could be a guy, and Joku, obviously, we've talked about him.
I would say Shelby Harris, if Hall can ever get off the PUP list.
Yeah,
they're gonna trade guys and send veterans to teams that need help, so we can bring young guys through. And it looks like everything's going for what did Andrew Jackson call it? A sophisticated rebuild.
Yes, the Harvard. The Ivy League rebuild.
Yeah.
Either way, you guys suck. All right, let's move on to this game. We've got our next divisional opponent, the 1-4 Browns, heading into Pittsburgh to face the 3-1 Steelers. Real quick, the Steelers are 6.5-point favorites last I checked. The over-under again this week below 40 points, 38.5. Cleveland is plus 225 to win the game. The last time the Browns won a regular season game against the Steelers in Pittsburgh, regular season game, was October 5th, 2003. 22 years ago.
Picked off Ben 2 or 3 times, and I think Dalen McCutcheon took one back to the house. I remember that game.
I mean, I don't. That was so long ago. So long ago. Since then, the Steelers have dominated the Browns at home. They've got a win streak of 20 games straight that they beat the Browns at home. So, is Sunday the day we break that streak? What do you think, Kenny? What do you guys think in the chat? Get your hands up if you guys want to talk about this game.
Man, it's tough. As defensive-minded as the Browns are, the Steelers are too, and I just can't remember a game where we just didn't have 3 turnovers there.
Yeah.
Ultimately, you could just replay the script of last week, and I just don't trust the younger team with the coaching to get us through the fourth quarter. If there's some miracle where they come off the bye after their win in Ireland and they're just a little rusty, and we can capitalize on some points somehow because we have been getting first quarter drives of late and can continue that momentum with Dylan as our quarterback and he progresses a little bit more. Maybe there's something, but ultimately based on history and that 20-game win streak and us going there, I don't see it happening. I just see the Vikings game happening all over again, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we've got hands flying up in the chat here, so we'll get Tony up here first. One thing real quick that you just mentioned, Kenny, the Browns elected not to take a bye week after their London trip. So they could have had a bye week this weekend. We wouldn't be talking about a game. They'd be getting a week of rest and all that kind of stuff. They didn't want one this early in the season. They wanted one a little bit more toward the middle or whatever. So they didn't take it. The Steelers did. They took their bye week last weekend after they were in Dublin, like you said, and faced the Vikings over in Ireland. So they came home. They rested up. They've practiced. They've had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. That's a tough spot for the Browns. Tony, what's going on, man?
I feel so I don't even want to say it anymore because after Kenny talks about how we just are known for making turnovers in this Pittsburgh game at Pittsburgh, I was going to say I don't want to see a reserved offensive game plan with Gabriel this week. I know that's really hard to say, especially against a defense as good as Pittsburgh's. But man, when I look back at the Vikings game, and even if you open up the playbook just a tad more, I'm not saying that it has to be front cover to the back cover, like everything's on the table, but that game could have changed differently. I mean, you saw in those last 3 drives where it was basic. I don't want Gabriel to turn over the ball. We're going to play safe. We're going to hope our defense wins. We can't do that the rest of the season. And on top of that, too, if you really want to see how good this kid is, you got to let him go out there and play. You can't just let him sit there in the pocket, give him the basic plays and say, hey, just don't turn over the ball. Just throw your 5-yard outs or 10-yard outs or ins or whatever the case may be. Like, you got to open up the offense. And that's got to be that, because if you really want to get an idea how good he is, that's the way you're going to do that, especially against a defense as good as Pittsburgh's. That'll give you a tall tale sign on how well he's able to read the defense, if he's able to see his guys, go through his progressions, and if he has the time to do it, right? And then secondly, the thing I'll say about the game, I actually have a slightly good feeling about this game because Aaron Rodgers has kind of shown, if he's playing against very good defense, not saying that Vikings defense isn't good, but he has seemed to not do as well, where he's prone to make a few more mistakes, where he could throw an interception here or there. And honestly, man, if Vikings had any sort of run defense against the Steelers, I don't think the Steelers won that game in Dublin. And if we could bring up a good run defense against them, and Denzel Ward or hopefully Tyson Campbell can, I'm not going to say completely stop DK Metcalf, but slow him down where he's not going to have a 1-reception, 80-yard touchdown like they did against Minnesota. There's a good chance this game's going to come to, okay, what kicker is going to make the field goal? Is it going to be Schmitz or is it going to be Boswell who wins the game?
This episode is sponsored by ISSA. Browns fans, if you're into health and fitness, have you ever wondered how you could maybe turn those hobbies and your passion into an actual career? If that sounds interesting to you, then ISSA has the opportunity you've been looking for. ISSA is the International Sports Science Association, and they can help you become a certified personal trainer in as little as 3 months. And right now you can get $100 off your certification when you sign up through our link, joinissa.com/Dawgs, DAWGS. Now, certifications are 100% online, self-study, and self-paced. You can study anywhere from your phone, tablet, or computer. And the final exam is open note, open book, aka piece of cake. Except you fitness nuts probably don't eat a ton of cake, so let's just call it a piece of delicious protein bar. And ISSA has the #1 job guarantee in the industry. If you get certified and sign up to be a certified trainer with ISSA, you have a job guarantee or your money back. ISSA has over 10,000 gym partners that have over 73,000 open jobs for trainers right now. And you don't need a 4-year degree or a 2-year degree. You just need your certification to qualify for these jobs. So what are you waiting for? With certification this simple, there's no excuse not to pursue your passion and become a certified personal trainer today. Get $100 off your certification at joinissa.com/Dawgs. You've wanted to make a change long enough. Now it's time to do something about it. That's joinissa.com/Dawgs for $100 off your personal trainer certification. This episode is sponsored by Southern New Hampshire University. Browns fans, do you ever feel stuck in your current job? Like, if you just had a different degree or some more education in a certain area, you could do something you really want to do. Well, Southern New Hampshire University has the answers for you. Head over to snhu.edu/bark to learn how you can get started on your new career today. SNHU is one of the largest online accredited universities in the United States, and it's radically affordable. Their online tuition rates are some of the lowest in the nation. So seriously, what are you waiting for? Head over to snhu.edu/bark to learn how you can get started on your degree for your new career, 100% online and 100% on your time. snhu.edu/bark. Real quick, talking about the Steelers defense, they're tough, and they've really come on, I think, the last few weeks. I don't think they started out so well, but obviously they started turning on. They're always tough at home. But if you just go by the numbers, I thought this was interesting when I was looking up the stats today. The Steelers actually give up the 5th most yards in the entire league, 382.5 yards per game, the 3rd most passing yards at 260.5, and they're about middle of the pack against the run at 122. What's interesting is the offensive side of the ball. The Browns actually average more yards per game than the Steelers do on offense, 288 versus 263. Both offenses are bottom 6 in the NFL. So neither one of these offenses is high or explosive or anything like that. The Browns average 192.6 yards per game passing. Pittsburgh just 183.5, and the Steelers are the 2nd worst rushing offense in the entire league, just 80 yards per game. The Browns are at 95.8. The big difference, the Steelers average 24 points per game, and the Browns are second to last in the NFL still at 14.6. So it sounds like if we're gonna take advantage, it might have to be through the air. I think we're gonna still get Quinshon's gonna get his on the ground. I think he's a good enough runner that whether you're a good run defense or not, I think he's going to at least have his moments. And you're right, this could be a game where Dylan Gabriel maybe is asked to do a little bit more. But I don't know. That might open him up to some potential mistakes as well.
Yeah, we got to beat man coverage, man. That's what we have to do. We got to get the ball more than 10 yards down the field. You do that, you win the game.
Yeah. Stacy, back up here. What's going on?
So today is actually my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thanks, guys. I'm excited for this weekend. Usually my birthday always falls during the season. So we got our games going, and we always have a little Browns party. Sadly, this year it's the Steelers game. So I don't know. If I'm going to be honest, I don't think we're going to pull this one out. And the reason being is, number one, Jalen Warren's coming back, I believe, and he's a hell of a good running back. And for some reason, that dude just has our number and gets plenty of yards every time he plays us. So there's that coming. And then I just don't see our cornerbacks lining up right with their receivers, even Calvin Austin. No one wants to talk about him, but that dude, again, some reason he seems to get a lot of yards when he plays against us. So it's going to really challenge our new cornerback. And is he for sure playing? Do we know, is he playing for sure this Sunday?
So the report was, I think they talked to him today at the press conference, Jim Schwartz, and he said, he just got his boots on the ground, I think was the quote. I haven't even met him yet, but they are planning to get him up to speed so that they're planning to have him on the field Sunday. Now, I posted this on X. I said, we saw the Browns trade for Cam Robinson, left tackle, Monday of last week. And then they had him available for the game on Sunday, and you saw how well that went. He didn't look like he knew what he was doing. He didn't look up to speed at all. Now, how different is it to play left tackle versus corner? I don't know all that stuff. All I know is he's probably not even practicing today. Tomorrow's Friday, and then the game is Sunday. So I don't know how up to speed he's going to be. It could get really hairy for our secondary.
Yeah, and I don't know what the heck happened last game with the Vikings having those offensive linemen out. We could not get pressure to save our lives. So if we can't get pressure this weekend on Aaron Rodgers, yeah, we're gonna be in trouble. So unfortunately, that's the way I see it going. I hate to be negative, but yeah.
I don't think you're being negative. I mean, I think that's a really good point. The biggest thing when I'm being at the game and watching it is I found that Carson Wentz maybe dropped back 2 seconds. It was fast. It was under 2 seconds. Everything was coming out. And I think it's kind of a blueprint to beat the defensive line because that's the heart of the team. And everybody knows that they can get after it. So there's going to be a lot of quick outs. There's going to be a lot of hard slants to DK Metcalf. Calvin Austin's going to be doing some button hooks, and then they're going to take their shots with Aaron Rodgers. But I think they have to do something, either drop a lineman or drop all their linebackers and just really do the bubble coverage almost that we do instead of rushing everybody all the time. And I think that's a way to kind of get around it. But it's our bread and butter. And ultimately what they have to do is they got to stop the run. They got to stop Warren, like you said, and get him to 3rd and long and just release the hounds. But if they keep, nickel and diming us, like, we eventually break. And that's because our defensive line isn't getting into the flow of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you said it perfect. Like, we have to do 1st, 2nd down, drop everybody back just because we don't have enough in the backfield. So then 3rd down, bring them if we get to that point.
Like, get hands up, bat some balls down if we can with Aaron Rodgers, and see what happens. And I didn't feel like last week that they changed enough up on that game plan.
Yeah, so we keep saying the name. Aaron Rodgers, obviously playing quarterback for the Steelers. He's old. I get it. He's 41, 42? Probably, I think he said this is his last year. He's retiring after this season. Andrew Jackson says he's 44. Okay. He's old. He is an old quarterback, but he has shown, obviously, can still play football at a decently high level, future Hall of Famer, all that stuff. This is a guy that whatever you're going to bring at him on defense, he has seen it many, many times before. It doesn't mean he's spectacular every game. It just means he gives you an edge as the quarterback for your offense because he's that seasoned veteran. He knows what he's doing. And the stat, okay, so I wanted to go through these numbers, and you guys in the chat and get your hands up. Let me know. Brad, I'll get you up here in a second. Let me know what you guys think about this if you didn't see it. The home road splits between our defense this season. So I went and I looked at the first 5 games, home, road. And this is very reminiscent of what the defense was like in 2023. If you guys remember, we were elite at home. We were just doing big things at home. On the road, I think we were pretty much like bottom of the league in a lot of these stat categories. It's kind of starting to look the same this season. So at home, on defense, we only allow 13.5 points per game. On the road, 32. Now, I get it. A lot of that on the road is because our offense also sucks on the road. They turn the ball over. They give the opposing team, good close scoring drives, all that kind of stuff. I get it. But they also gave up 4 touchdown passes to Lamar Jackson. So at home, the defense holds opponents to 185 yards total in a game, 63.5 rushing, 122 passing. On the road, it's over 100 yards more, 289.4 yards per game total, 83.7 rushing, and 205.7 passing. So big difference between the defense on the road and the defense at home. And then like sacks, they average 4 sacks at home, just 2 sacks on the road. They hold teams to 12.5 first downs at home, 16, almost 17 first downs on the road. And this game is on the road. So I don't think you're being negative, Stacy. I think, like Kenny said, it's realistic. This team is going to struggle. They are going to struggle Sunday. They always do. They always struggle in Pittsburgh. And this team specifically is going to struggle, I think. I like Dylan Gabriel. I think he does what Kevin Stefanski and the offense wants him to do, take care of the ball, play smart, play accurately, play on time. Steelers are tough. TJ Watt, sorry. It's going to be interesting. I know Gage in the chat said, I think this is the week we see Gabriel's first turnover of the season. I think that's very possible. Whether it's an interception, a strip sack, something like that. I don't want it to happen, but we've seen it time and time again.
Yeah, and we got just a lot younger, from last year to this year. We got guys at positions that aren't used to playing, and most of those mistakes with rookies or first-year guys, they happen on the road. So they got to be very careful, take care of the ball, and it might lead to a victory. But I mean, I'm not feeling as confident with the situation that we're in. I mean, hell, I came back from partying all week, and the jet lag's killing me right now. I don't know if you can tell. I can't imagine playing a football game in the NFL in 2 days. You know,
they're going to be tired, worn out, all that stuff. And I don't want to just blame like the mistakes and this stuff on the young guys either, because I was watching some of Jake Burns' Brownsville breakdown from last week. I mean, David Njoku was out there making big mistakes on the offense, not blocking guys that he was supposed to getting beat off the line. Yeah, guys blowing up the play with Dylan Gabriel because Njoku's out there missing his guy. Wyatt Teller a couple plays. Like, what the hell is he doing? And it just seems like there's miscommunications. These guys just don't know what they're doing all the time. And it's not just the rookies, it's also the veterans. I mean, you got your veteran wide receiver 1, Jerry Jeudy, who can't catch a pass. And
Yeah,
I'm going to dog
so
on him
frustrating, man.
until he turns it around. What am I supposed to do? Sit here and every week be like, oh, yeah, he's going to turn it around this week. Every week he's out there dropping passes. He catches like 1 or 2 balls a game for, like 20 yards.
I just wanted to remind people Jerry Jeudy is still on the trade block.
Wait, is this a fantasy call out?
Yeah, that's for
Okay.
the fantasy.
Yeah, I got him in a league too. If anybody wants him, come get him. Oh, that's awesome. All right, let's get Brad. I know you still wanted to come up, I believe. Thank you, Stacy. Love hearing from you guys every week. Brad, what's going on?
Oh, well, I'm glad you guys came down to earth about the Pittsburgh game because, I'm be pretty brutal about it. We have a new corner. We still have a rookie quarterback.
Let me stop you real quick. Keep that thought. I'll get right back to you. We do have a new corner, and if he's not ready to go or he's only going to play limited snaps, you're talking about Miles, Harden, and Dom Jones. Okay, continue. I'm with you.
Yeah. So we got Walmart greeters out there, corner possibly for Sunday. So that should go good. But I mean, I don't know. The only way we beat Pittsburgh is if we just beat the crap out of their defense with our run game, and passing is going to be rare and limited, probably just to tight ends because our star wide receiver can't seem to catch balls that he's supposed to when he caught the same balls last year. And we don't have a wide receiver really after that. I mean, Bond can get open sometimes, but it's, I saw Gabriel kind of favoring him because it seems like Bond is starting to take some good routes to get open. And that one play is from last week. I had to kind of keep people in charge, oh, Dylan missed wide open. Yeah, well, he had barely 2 seconds to step in the pocket and throw to that wide open guy. So, he's a rookie. He's going to make those mistakes. It happens. I don't know. I see this as we're probably getting beat by 2 touchdowns from the Steelers, unfortunately, and it just move on through the dumpster fire of the season. And who knows? Mm-hmm. I definitely could see, as Gage has said, Dylan turning over the ball to the Steelers because the Steelers like to get turnovers from our rookies. So, and we're facing a coach, if everybody remembers statistically, that doesn't allow rookies to beat his team at home. So,
or the
just
Browns,
keep that in mind.
for that matter.
And we're the Browns.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. I don't really have much hope for the game on Sunday. I'm just going to watch, see if Gabriel goes through his progressions a little better, makes a couple more reads, and just watch Quinshawn be a possible rookie of the year. So,
yeah,
That's where I'm at.
I feel like the season's kind of been like the roller coaster on my expectations for each game because week 1, I thought we had a chance, obviously going into that game, hey, we can beat the Bengals, and we should have. It was a close game. And then week 2, I really thought it was going to be a bad game in Baltimore, and they whooped us bad. We're the only team they've beaten. We're the only team that they haven't let score 40 points on them. We scored 3 without a fluke touchdown and a late garbage time touchdown. Week 3, the Packers, I thought that was going to be a low-scoring, defensive game, but I thought they were definitely going to beat us. I was wrong. We were able to come out with a win on that one. Week 4, I didn't think there was any chance we were going into Detroit and beating the Lions, and they just took us behind the woodshed. And then last week, I thought it would be close, but eventually the Vikings would win, and they did. And this week, I think it's going to be back to that. I think we're getting beat bad. I hate to say it. I hate losing. I'm so tired of losing. 4-20 in the last 24 games. I keep saying it on repeat, but it just makes me sick. But I don't think this is the one that we get in Pittsburgh.
No, I mean, we talked about it all off season. I mean, these first 6 games, we just didn't see it with the team because we just had too many what ifs, right? And it was what if all the receivers after Jeudy show up? What if Quinshawn is good with Dylan Sampson, or Dylan Sampson. What if, with our defensive backs, but like we got injuries, QJ is what we thought he is awesome, but Sampson's not coming along like he should. The receivers, I mean, maybe there was some false hope after the preseason, but they are just not anywhere close to being NFL caliber after Judy, and he's not even looking that way. So there's a long way to go for this team, and it's going to be like a rough season, but there are glimmers of hope. I mean, like if you take a look and, it's like Blake always says, there are guys open. If we can just get the ball to them somehow, there is a glimmer of hope with the back end of the schedule, but we got to get through these places that we don't play well, and they had more starters and less injuries or whatever it was at the beginning of these 6. But if we somehow get 2 and 4 out here, I mean, I'll be doing backflips, man. I think that would be fantastic. So let's see what they can do this week. But I mean, again, it's in Pittsburgh. We don't do well.
Yeah. And I mean, I think I said this on Tuesday's show, and I'll say it again. Like, this is why I don't like to do the whole schedule watching and prediction thing ahead of the season, because, we all said, well, it's a gauntlet to start the season. It really wasn't. I mean, the Bengals were terrible. The Ravens, we now know, are a terrible defense. We're just that bad on offense. Like that, a good team can do stuff on them, obviously. And like the Vikings, they were down everything on offense. Our defensive line should have manhandled them. Carson Wentz should have had, been buried in the turf and all this stuff. So those games weren't as tough as they looked ahead of the season. But this one I do think will be. I got Joe Merica here in the chat says, I'm not feeling very hopeful about this week, unfortunately. Each week I've thought we've had a decent chance to win, but not this week. And Mama Tendo, shout out Mama Tendo, says not a whole lot of optimism for this game, mostly because it's a road game. And as previously noted, our defense doesn't show up on the road. Unfortunately, that is trending to be the case again this season. So we'll see. It's football. It's NFL football. There's always, it's any given Sunday. Just unfortunately, it has not been any given Sunday for the Browns over the last 22 years. The last 20 games or whatever in Pittsburgh, regular season games, have not gone our way. So that is not playing our favor.
At least we got that playoff game in our belt. Yeah. That was the beauty of multiple. We'll have great memories of that, even though this game won't be that great. But I'll be looking for it with my Browns backers. It's Thanksgiving up here in Canada.
Oh, there you go.
We got a long weekend. And if you're in the 613 area, man, come on down to Mulligan's and hang out with us. And we'll have some Thanksgiving fun.
I got 2 last things before you guys end.
All right.
First, Kenny. Yeah. Thank God to your Blue Jays for getting rid of the Skankies out of the playoffs. I'm tired of them in the playoffs. I'm going to root for your Jays the rest of the way, because obviously my team doesn't know how to spend money the right way. So that's where we're at with them. Still a great team. Just we need a couple more pieces. And the last thing, can the NFL stop scheduling us against the Vikings in England, please? Just stop. We've lost both times. We need a new team. If we're going back to England again, we need another team, dog. That's all I got.
It's funny because the last time we played, or I should say the first time we played the Vikings in London was 2017. Obviously, that was the second year of the back-to-back, the 1-31, the tanking seasons where we were trying to rebuild and all that stuff. It's funny that we got scheduled to go play the Vikings in London this year. It's now the second year in a back-to-back of, last year we were 3-14. God knows what we're going to end up this year. The situations are just too similar for my liking. Anything else, Kenny?
No, man. I just want to get out. I'm like you, dude. I want to see wins. I totally get the frustration. You and Blake are hilarious, but at the end of the day, I think you guys are both right. I mean, number one was Blake's point. He's always like, what coach would you put in this situation would win more? I mean, maybe Kevin O'Connell because of his great record. Would Mike Tomlin do anything better with this? You want to see everybody fired. And I get on that emotional train too. I'm just like, man, I'm so tired of this. Like, let's just start fresh. But that doesn't get us anywhere either until the end of the season. So, right now we just have to accept that they just don't play good football. This is the way it is.
No,
and until they come out and play some good football, this is what we got to expect.
No, you're right. And again, I'm not advocating ever that we fire these guys right now. I don't think that helps anything. This team sucks way too bad to recover from or to improve by firing anybody. But it's at the end of this season. We'll see how things play out. I'm just not optimistic that this is the right regime to take us where we want to go. Blake thinks it's a lot about the personnel. Like if we just got good personnel in here on offense, then we'd be a good team. I'm more of the mindset that I don't care who you bring in here. This coaching staff is not going to get the most out of these guys, and they're just not going to be good enough. I want to be wrong. I say it all the time. I hope I'm the one who's wrong about this. This is not about wanting to win the argument. It's just the way I feel. But, I said the other day, is this team going to finish with just one win at the end of this season? No, I don't think so. No. I think there's definitely games down the stretch here that we're going to win. I don't know how many. We could end up with 3 wins like last year, maybe 4 or 5 by when it's all said and done. We'll see. It all depends on how Dylan Gabriel develops and, if and when it moves to Shedeur and then how he plays. It really rides a lot on these rookie quarterbacks. And you can't say anything about the vets because we don't have any. So it is a very, very young, rookie-heavy team. I forget how many rookies we have right now on the roster, but it is a ton. It's like 14 or something like that.
Yeah, and there's a propensity to have miscommunications, mistakes with that. I mean, that they can eventually grow. Some things will change. That happens through the course of the season. So, I mean, ultimately, how are they going to develop? Let's see that, man. I'm going to be down in Miami, guys, for the Miami game. So if you guys want to hang out, let's do it. Let's see a win.
Yep, and we'll talk about that. Well, that's next week's game, right? Yeah, so we'll talk about that next Thursday whenever. What day are you coming down?
Depends if I can get ALCS tickets. So I can get the American League tickets. Gotcha. So I don't know if I'm going to come through Detroit or if I'm definitely not going to Seattle. That's for sure. So we got to see wins, and I'll figure that out. Okay.
Sounds good. All right. Well, again, I appreciate you guys all tuning in here, jumping in, the audience, doing these Discord live shows with us. It's been a ton of fun. I'm glad we brought these back this year. We're going to do them the rest of the season. You guys interacting with us makes this show so much better. It's so much more fun doing it with you guys. And if you want to be part of these, if you're watching or listening to this after the fact, head to jointhedawgs.com, become an official Dog Pack member on the Patreon page, sync up with the private Discord. If you have any issues whatsoever, just message us. We'll take care of it. And by we, I mean Nate is the greatest. He is our Discord expert, Dog Pack member in here as well. So we'll push everything to him and he'll take care of you because he's the man. We don't know diddly squat about what we're doing, but we're in there. We're talking with you guys 24/7. It's a ton of fun. So make sure you're in there. Jointhedawgs.com, especially on game days. I vowed last week that I was not going to be a pessimistic prick or whatever all Sunday long during the game. So basically, I just jumped out of the Discord. But I promise I'll be better, guys. I will. So thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys Sunday after the Steelers game. Hopefully talking about a Browns win, but it could very well most likely be the 21st straight win for the Steelers in Pittsburgh. We'll see, but we'll talk to you guys Sunday night.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dawgs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at the Dawgs Podcast. Get your thoughts on the show at thedawgspodcast.com.
BetterHelp. Browns fans, if you're like me, the stresses in life only increase the older you get. Your family, your job, your bank account, just a few things that drive the cycle of stress every day. And if you have people constantly depending on you, it can put a heavy weight on your mental health. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? Why does no one appreciate everything I'm trying to do for them? If these thoughts have ever darkened your day, 1, you're not alone, and 2, I highly recommend talking to someone, and that's where BetterHelp could be the right resource for you. Head to BetterHelp, HELP.com/Dawgs, DAWGS for 10% off your first month of talk therapy. Just fill out a simple questionnaire and BetterHelp will match you with the best therapist for your needs. needs. And if it's not the right fit, you can switch therapists at any time for no extra cost. BetterHelp is 100% online. You can talk with your therapist on the phone, via face chat, or even through text message. Your therapist will listen, ask questions, and help you see things from new perspectives. So what are you waiting for? Take the first step to making positive improvements in your life. Head to betterhelp.com/dogs now for 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/dogs for 10% off your first month.